As a kid, I lived on Stern Street, and we would run up Stern Street down past Ryan's Pharmacy, Caddick Corner from Iowa Pork Shop. We'd run over into the Iowa Pork Shop. We'd go back to the ice cream freezer and we'd grab drumsticks. I think a drumstick would cost a dime. It was the most expensive ice cream we could get while we were there. Now Debbie and I just had dinner at one of our favorite places here at El Campeon. And in El Campeon, here in the background, we have Debbie always orders that let's see, taquitos dorado con carne. That's taquitos with beef, kind of like you used to get as kids at A&W root beer stand. And tonight I had the mole and chicken with tortillas and guacamole. Just absolutely killer. But afterwards, we went over to the little mercado. Now my kids like to say real often, say, Dad, you're in Mexico even when you're not in Mexico. And this little shopping center, predominantly Hispanic, everyone speaking Spanish. And I went into the mercado. Debbie had seen the sign for Good Humor ice creams for drumsticks. And she said, wouldn't it be fun to have a drumstick again? I thought, yeah, that would be fun. I went and picked up a couple of Good Humor drumsticks. What I thought might cost me $0.25 each, they were $2.45 each. Ended up costing me $2.88. Well, that's $2.44 each for 2 drumsticks. Now, this little shopping center has a Tesla charging station, and everyone may speak Spanish here, but it's fairly nice end. I got my hair cut. When I got my hair cut, the gal who cut my hair, I said, do you speak English? And she looked at me like, I said, habla inglés? And she said, no inglés, lo siento. No, I don't speak English, I'm sorry. And so hopefully my hair is kind of done in Spanish, but I thought about the changing world we live in now. And the nice part about this little market that we like is that it reminds me of my neighborhood when I was a kid. Not ethnically and not any of those things, but it has a good neighborhood feel. Kids are coming in and grabbing an ice cream. Families are sitting down for dinner. And as families sat down for dinner, my heart broke thinking about that every single one of these families with their kids that is here and they're struggling with their immigration status. These kids, they have directions for when mom and dad goes to work in the morning and they go to school for what to happen if mom and dad gets picked up by immigration during the day. And my heart just broke over it. And part of my heart didn't ache for 25-cent or 15-cent drumstick again, but instead it ached for a time of hope, a time of love, a time where people didn't even think about someone being arrested and shipped away, but instead arms were open. Maybe arms weren't always open. I know they weren't. I know the Ku Klux Klan ruled, and I know across Long Beach there were people who were being crushed because of their ethnic and their racial background. But there was this part of the world that I lived in. White privilege, it's called. This part of the world that I lived in, wealthy people, where we didn't know about all of that other stuff as children. We were protected. We lived in a bubble. I think it's important for us to accept that that bubble, it's good that it's been broken. And the only thing that would be even better is not that it would be broken, but instead that it would be extended as a bubble of protection around the entire world. That every child everywhere could grow up and live with hope, know they could run to the corner store in safety, know they could come home and mom and dad would be waiting for them, know that there would be joy, and they could be safe in the neighborhood. This week of killing, this week of hatred, this week of so many horrible things that have happened, it's hard not to long for a time when there's just a drumstick at the corner. It's hard not to long for the quiet of a neighborhood, and it's hard not to long for just this community that we've celebrated here together as the sun's gone down in San Juan Capistrano. I don't know where you live. I don't know how you live, and I don't know how you feel politically. But I know this. It's our job to love each other. It's our job to build neighborhoods. Our moms and our dads and the generation that I come from came home from World War II after fighting each other, and Japanese and German and Italian and Spanish and all sorts of people settled together and found peace and built a world that we could grow up in. And they called it home in America. I believe we can call this place home again if only we would extend our hearts and our doors and our arms to everyone and know that everyone deserves a nice neighborhood, and it shouldn't be a bubble that's ever broken. God bless you. I know this sounds like someplace miraculous, but I grew up in something like that. You can too. Together we can be the miracle. If only we would make the effort. If only we would choose. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Come out to Central Community. This weekend I'm preaching on what to do and how to survive when our burdens break us. That happens in life. God bless you.